The word of the week from David White this week is self-knowledge. And there's so many levels to what that means. So there's the word, and I was thinking about it in terms of what it means for yoga. And in yoga, we have this word svadhyaya, which means self-study. Sva means self, and the second part of that word comes from the root hyai, which means to contemplate or to think on or to call to mind. So we get from this self-study. And again, even in yoga, that has sort of a lot of levels. In the classical sense, it really had to do with knowing the big S self. But in the tantric tradition, we embrace the whole of our beings as one. So on the physical level, svadhyaya is knowing your body, knowing what's appropriate for your body, what's appropriate for your body today in what you're doing. It's knowing where there's tightness and tension, where there tends to be laxity. It's knowing all of those physical parts of ourselves. And then, one layer sort of deeper than that is knowing our minds, knowing our thoughts and why they're arising, because each individual mind has distinctive qualities and shadings, preferences, colorings, the way that we see the world. And so understanding how our minds work in that way helps us to understand how we see the world and how we experience the world. But at that highest level is that big S self. So the first two are sort of the small S self. And what the ancient yogis were really referring to with svadhyaya is the big S self. And this is that idea of the wave and the ocean, right? That the ocean is the vast hugeness of everything that is. And the wave is the individual expression of that, but it's still the ocean, right? And so that's who we are as individuals. We are individual expressions of that bigger, vast, huge consciousness that is everything. And so that was the level that the ancient yogis were really referring to. And so there's another translation of the word svadhyaya, which means reciting or repeating or rehearsing. And so it's this idea that svadhyaya consists of repeatedly impressing into our minds this idea that we are infinite consciousness and just returning to it again and again and again, our intuitive sense of that part of ourselves. That's the true, like the highest, I'm not going to say the true, they're all true, but the highest level of what svadhyaya is that realization that we are so much bigger, so much more than who we think we are, than what we think we are. And so there's a lot of ways to do that, of course. On the mat level, it's doing our yoga practice with that highest level of awareness, right? The level of awareness, yes, of our bodies, yes, of our thoughts and our minds, but ultimately of just the highest sense of who we are, the vast hugeness of the universe. That is who we are. Rumi said, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in one drop." And that's the level of self-awareness that we're working on in our yoga.